Hi everyone, I'm Paige Abbott, and this is your weekly recovery message on the topic of addiction involving sex. Another one of my pet peeves is people questioning whether addiction involving sex or sex addiction is even a real thing. And to me, this is a bizarre question because, of course, it's a real thing. It's a part of addiction. And for everybody who has addiction, if they identify having addiction involving substances, alcohol, drugs, food, or other behaviors such as gambling or shopping, underneath that will always be issues involving relationships, including sex and love. For those of you who may not be clear if you have addiction or you're still struggling to understand where your issues around addiction involving sex, love, and relationships lie, I would encourage you to maybe go back and do a bit of an inventory. So review your previous history of relationships and your sexual behavior. And asking yourself some important questions can be helpful. So in particular, looking at, have you ever used behaviors such as masturbation, pornography use, or sex with another person to escape feelings, to avoid a situation, or as a replacement for love and connection? Are you currently feeling confused about what role love or intimacy plays in a relationship if sex is not a component? Were you introduced to sex, pornography, masturbation at a very young age? If so, what was your relationship like with those behaviors when you were young, and how has that evolved as you've gotten older? Is abstinence from sex with self and even sex with others something that you would be willing to consider pursuing for a period of time? Again, to give yourself clarity, the extent and the nature of your issues and your attachment to these behaviors. That cooling off period can be very beneficial for the brain and can really give people the jump start for recovery that they're looking for. If you're pursuing abstinence and recovery from other behaviors or other substances but are continuing to act out with sex with other people or even sex with self, what this will do is it activates and aggravates the addiction circuitry in the brain, and it prohibits moving forward in recovery as you would like to do. So the addiction will still be more active than you're aware of, so that will make recovery and abstinence from those other behaviors and substances also challenging. So it's important to look at the whole picture of what's happening, but I would strongly encourage you, if you already have a recovery support network and circle, to start talking with them about your relationships and your sexual history and your current behaviors of what's happening in relationships. Are you sexually active? What is that looking like? And looking at how you're feeling around those behaviors and what's the motivation for engaging in those behaviors. These are the core questions to keep coming back to with any part of addiction. What's the motivation? How am I feeling? And does this support my recovery? If you are interested in looking in more depth around the areas of sex, love, and relationships, there are 12-step support groups out there that support these. So there's SA, Sexaholics Anonymous, there's SAA, Sex Addicts Anonymous, and SLAA, Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous. So all three of those support groups take slightly different perspectives on recovery and abstinence, but all are looking at that realm of sex, love, and relationship behaviors. And this is something that I believe is truly important for everyone who has addiction to look at, or else there will be challenges and complications to your recovery. I wish you the best in your ongoing week ahead in recovery, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.